Good morning, guys. It's Tracy from Nova Scotia Living, and today I wanted to see if you want to hang out with me while I make a pulled pork supper. I'm going to be making homemade hamburger buns, homemade pulled pork, and homemade coleslaw. So that's what I'm going to do. Mr. Mays is right here. I have another baby around my ankles, but I thought I'm just going to jump right in with 2 feet. Watch out for the baby, that is, and we'll get moving. So I just want to quickly go over. In this bowl, I just left the spices out on the counter so you can see, but in this bowl is 2 tablespoons of paprika. You can use smoked paprika. I didn't have any, so it's just regular paprika. But if you like it smoky, just add a few dashes of that liquid smoke if you have some. I'm not sure if I have any or not. I'll look after. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I only had cayenne like red pepper flakes, so that's what I'm using. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, and 3/4 cup of water, which I have in that measuring cup there. I mixed them together. So I'm going to just wait for the pork to finish defrosting in the microwave, and we'll start throwing this together. Alright guys, we're going to do this quick because we got some more work to do. I have a couple of pork roasts here. For those that are new, you might not know, we have a lot of kids and we have a big family. So, I cook a lot of food. What I'm going to do, I like to score up my meat before I put those spices on it. Or at least the fat cap. I don't cut right down to the bone or anything. I just do a couple of, this is a super sharp knife, guys. And we're going to put those spices on it in a minute. Let me just see here. I have my camera tied up to my tripod with a tea towel. I'm not even joking. The reason why I do this is just so the spices can get down into the meat better. This roast is still a little bit frozen, but we're going to be cooking it all day long. So we usually eat supper around 5 o'clock because we have early mornings and early bedtimes for the kids anyways. So, let's see. So I was going to put the spices on here, but I don't want to, well, maybe I'll do it on here so you guys can see. And then after, whatever's left on the pan, I'll just put in the slow cooker. So, here's the spices you guys seen. I'm just going to mix it together like this. You can buy those little instant pack spice seasoning things from the store. I actually found one up in my cupboard when I was putting these ingredients together, but I thought, no, I'm just going to do it how I usually do it. But those work. I've made pulled pork with those before, and they're tasty too. But I like doing it homemade if I can, because I know exactly what's in it, and I can read all the ingredients. Just saying. So, this is all mixed up. And we're just going to rub it all in. Rub it all in. I'll speed this part up, guys, because this is going to be kind of a long video. Making hamburger buns and all that jazz. And I tend to be a rambler. And I need you guys to let me know. Do you guys like it when they're long, or do you like it when they're short? Do you like me just jibber-jabbering all over the place? Let me know. So, fast forward now. Alright, I have it in the slow cooker now. I'm going to put it on high for an hour, and then I'll flip it down to low. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning, and this is going to go all day long. I don't even need to check it, really. Yeah, so now I need to disinfect that table because we're going to be making buns. Alright guys, let's start whipping up the hamburger bun dough. So I'm doubling the recipe because, like I said, I got a big family and we like to eat. So what I'm going to do, I'll put a flash screen here so you can see the exact measurements. And I'm just going to add them so you can watch me. But here's some water. Oh, of course, the kids start yanging for me as soon as I hit the go button, but that's life. Seems like they do that when it's, when the phone rings too. But, so I think what I'll do is I'll speed it up here. You guys can watch. And yeah, like I said, you'll see the ingredients list. So you see how it's kind of come together. Now I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes and let this do its work for 5 minutes. Alright, 5 minutes is up and you can see it all came together. Even more so, got all the stuff off the sides and all that stuff. I got a couple of babies in here, so you'll hear some squawking. But this dough is going to be a bit stickier dough than, say, if I was to make bread, because we added eggs to it. Or an egg for a single recipe, but I'm doubling it up. So if I was making a single recipe, I'd leave it right in this bowl to rise, but since I'm making a double one, I got out a bigger bowl. I'm just going to grease this bowl, and we got to let this rise for about an hour and a half. So in the meantime, I know in my household there's always something to do, or I could do nothing and just relax and watch YouTube or read a book or something like that. Ooh. My daughter Mally's the camera person right now. Oh, I should have took my ring off, but yeah, you can see it's kind of sticky. It's not like falling off onto my hands, but it's stickier than a bread dough. So I'm just going to plop it in there, and I'll just do a little spray on top of it. I'll cover it. Woo! Mr. Mays is over here. And I'll cover it with a tea towel. And we're just going to stick it in the oven with just the oven light on for an hour and a half. And then we'll be back. Alright guys, it's been an hour and a half. The buzzer just went off. So I'm just getting the dough out of the oven. You can see it's risen. Probably a little more than twice its size, but that's what we want. It's a nice smooth dough. I'm going to flip this screen around so I can see what I'm filming. There. Alright, and in that time I got a few things done. Mr. Mays had a shower. I got a few of the house chores done. But yeah, my hands are all washed. I took my thumb ring off. And now what we're going to do is just punch it down, push it down, let some of the air out of it. I reserved some flour here, just so we can put some on the table when we need it. So we'll push it down. Perfect. And I just put a dusting. I won't need this whole cup, but I like to have it. You never know, just in case. So we bring it out of the bowl. And yeah, perfect. going to do is this will generally make about 12 rolls for a single. I'm going to try to aim for 24 rolls. If I don't, some will be bigger, some will be smaller. But that's homemade, right? I need to get one of these dough cutters. Whew. Just about slipped on the floor. And I'll just show you how I divide this up real quick. Well, I'll fast forward it so you can see. Hey, no, no, no. Hey, no, no, no. Okay, now I divided it up. You can see some are bigger, some are smaller, but you'll watch me, and I'll pull a little bit from here and there to add to the smaller ones. But I'll see if I can bring it in. My camera's not the greatest, but I'll bring it in. Well, actually, I'll do most of them, and then I'll bring it back and show you up close how I do it. So, yeah. Okay, I'm not going to have quite 24. I could have made 24, but that's the good thing for me. I like homemade, and they're not all the same size. I'll insert a picture of these pans before we bake them and rise them and all that jazz. Yeah, I have you zoomed in real far. So I have 3 left to do. Yeah. Oh, back this way. I'm trying to look at my little viewer. So what I do, I just take it and squeeze it. Make sure your hands are super clean, guys. I wear gloves with most of my cooking, but when it comes to dough and stuff, I gotta use my bare hands because you gotta feel the texture. So I try to get it into a ball, roll it around. Some people can do it on the table really well, and I can do it, but I like to do it in my hands more often than not. But I should say I got this recipe from Noreen from Noreen's Kitchen. If you haven't checked out her channel, I'll leave her link below of how she makes her hamburger buns. This is her recipe, or that's where I got it from. And I've never went back since. Sometimes, I'm not going to lie, sometimes we do buy store-bought hamburger buns. Because if it's a snap decision, this takes a little time. But the good thing about home baking is you can make 12 of these, or you can make 48 of these, and it's about the same. You just need the ingredients. If you're making a mess, you might as well make a big mess if you've got a lot of people to feed. So, we're just shy 1. So we'll have 23 buns. But some are small buns, some are big buns, some are medium buns. But I can guarantee they'll all get eaten. A good thing, I use my homemade hamburger buns for anything that it calls for buns, but I'm thinking if there's buns left, which I'm sure there will be a few, Sloppy Joes will be an easy lunch for the kids tomorrow. Well, not just for the kids. Yeah, we'll have Sloppy Joes with homemade buns and some dill pickles. That's a good combo. So let me zoom you back out, and you guys can see what we did. And then we're going to have to let this rise for another hour. So just a second, guys. All right. Is that driving you crazy without the extra bun there? It kind of gets to me, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. But these are our buns. And they're so easy. So you see me roll them, squish them, roll them, and then squish them down. Like, these are about to go back in the oven, covered with a clean tea towel, and let rise for another hour. You'll see. I'll take a before and after picture so you'll be able to tell the difference. But they'll rise. And then after that, it's a quick bake in the oven, and we're done. So I'll bring you back an hour later when these are all done rising. All right, I just took these out of the oven. Let me move you back a little bit. They're in there a little over an hour. I just got busy doing stuff. But, oh, let me flip it around so I can see what the heck I'm doing. See if you guys can see, that is. So, I forgot to take the before picture, but I think I have one of before when I made hamburger buns, so I'll put that there. But as you can see, they're really puffed up. And you got to be very careful because they're full of air because they've risen. And I just melted some butter here, and we're just going to gently coat these with butter. So it keeps them nice and moist when we put them in. The oven's preheating at 350 degrees, and we bake it for 15 to 18 minutes. You just keep an eye on it, and you'll know it's done when it's nice and golden brown, and when you tap it, it sounds hollow. So I'll speed this up. Okay, so these buns are all glazed, and if you wanted sesame seeds on, I don't have sesame seeds, but this would be the time to put them on after you glazed them with the butter. I'm going to stick them in the oven as soon as that buzzer goes off, and I'll keep an eye on them. I'm going to set the timer initially for 15 minutes, and I'll check them then, and if they're not done, I'll put them in, rotate the pan, and do the next one. So I'm going to glaze this one, but I'll bring you back after that. Okay guys, the buzzer just went off, so I'm going to take them out of the oven. They look good and they smell good. Now we got to tap them, and they sound hollow to me. So, let's put the other ones in, and I'll bring you back. Alright, time for the second pan, and then we'll be done with the buns. Exciting. Whew. Yeah. Boy, some of these are humongous, but we got big people and little people in this house, so they can pick which buns they want. So what I did for the first pan, and I didn't show you, but I'll show you what I do here. With the remaining butter that you have, you just do a quick glaze while it's still hot. Oh, my kids are squawking out there, guys. Please ignore that if you can hear it. Anyways, we just do a quick glaze of it, and then we're going to let these cool completely before I cut it open. I want to cut one now just to show you how pretty they are, but I haven't had this not turn out ever. They always turn out. Her recipe, she says that you can keep this, you can keep this in an airtight container for up to a week. I usually use them within a couple of days though, to be honest. Unless you have a really good container that'll keep them fresh. But when it's homemade, they'll be good. These would be good for sandwiches or pizza subs or whatever. My kids, they'll make cinnamon toast out of these hamburger buns if I let them. So, there we go. When it's time to cut these open and load up the pork and the coleslaw on it, you'll be able to see what they all look like. Now onto the coleslaw. Guys, I should have been a little bit more on the ball in regards to my ingredients when I made my coleslaw, because I'm missing a few. I don't have any more dry mustard, and I don't have any more apple cider vinegar, so I'm making do, and this is what you should too. Just use what you have. So instead of apple cider vinegar, I'm using rice vinegar for sushi or whatever. It seems a little sweeter than apple cider vinegar, and you can use that. And it calls for dry mustard. I don't have any more. I used it with my mustard pickles that I made. So a little dollop of just regular mustard. There's a cup of mayonnaise. Oh, let me just read off the ingredients to you. Okay, so it calls for a cup of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, a half a teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of dry mustard, 1/8 teaspoon of celery seed. And that's another thing I don't have, and I usually have that. So we're just going to make do. It's going to be okay. And then 5 cups of shredded coleslaw mix. And I thought I had red pepper, but I don't. But that's okay, because this is just going to be like a condiment on top of our pulled pork. I find it goes good with pulled pork, and it gives it a good crunch. So I already added the vinegar and the mustard and the mayonnaise all in here. I'm going to mix it together. And then I'm just going to add this. We'll mix it together, and it'll all jive together. And then when it gets closer to supper time, I'm going to add this to the carrots and the cabbage. Okay, I'm going to cut up a couple of these buns for my son so you can see. Do you want a big one?
Yep.
We'll get one of the big kahunas. Yeah. So, these are still pretty warm, but we'll cut it. Oh, they're so soft. Can you see that? It looks just like a regular hamburger bun. I'll have to take a picture of it so it gets a better view. But perfect. It's nice and squishy, soft. It's going to be delicious. Alright guys, we're going to check the slow cooker. I'm going to bring the bowl out and we'll check it out. Watch out, baby. Whew, that's hot. It smells so good. There. Let's see. So I haven't taken the lid off at all. Ooh. Ooh, that's hot. Smells so good. Now, I'm going to try to grab one of these bad boys out of here. That's the big kahuna. Let's see. Ooh, it's falling apart in there. Look at that. I'm going to let this cool a little bit, and then we'll shred it up. And then, when it's shredded up, we'll put it back in here. Alright, so we got to shred it up as best as I'm going to do it. My hands are getting tired. So I'm going to let this sit in the pot. I'll turn it on low to keep warm for about another 20 minutes or so. And then it'll be ready to eat. I mean, you could eat it now, but I want the spices to get all on the meat. And you'll notice it'll change color a little bit too. It'll take on that reddish hue. So anyways, pretty soon we'll be sitting down to eat together. A little more. I'm going to put together that coleslaw. I'm not going to mix up the whole thing because I know we're not going to eat that all right now. So if we want some more later or tomorrow, my hands are clean, guys. We can just add some more sauce to it. Again, it's just I don't want it to get all soggy and wilted. And we use it as a condiment. I just put a bag of oven, store-bought French fries in the oven. And just to go along with this, people have been nibbling all day, so they're not super hungry. But So I didn't need to do a great big bunch. So, this sauce has been in the fridge. We're just going to mix it up. There's lots of black pepper in the, yeah, black pepper in here. So, has a nice little kick to it. The sugar balances out the tartness of the mayonnaise and mustard. So, there we have it. Alright, I can't keep the kids out of the kitchen anymore. There's 2 there, 2 over here, some out there, some all over the place. So I just took some of the meat out of the slow cooker and put it in one of the little bowls, just so I can grab a couple plates without bringing that big hot bowl over here. And this is going to be my husband's plate for now, because he's as hungry as the rest of them. So I'm going to end up taking a picture of this. Misha. With my camera so you can see a little bit better. But what we do, we just put a nice helping of the meat on. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. And then we put some crunchy coleslaw on top of it.
Crunchy.
And it adds a little zing.
That's homemade.
That's homemade coleslaw, Misha.
I know. I told you that already.
And then it, oh, I mustn't have cut it. There. That goes on top. Now it looks messy, and it is messy, but it's tasty. And I'll give him a little blob of ketchup. And Bob's your uncle. That's supper. I'll take a picture and I'll put it here so you can see it. But thanks for hanging out with me today, you guys. You helped me keep me company all day, making the buns and the salad and the meat and this and that and the chit chat. So yeah, stay tuned tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but it should be something good, I think. Okay. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay. Have a good evening, guys. Peace, love, and happiness.